When you get moving, each little step cranks up your momentum. And that momentum is like a confidence booster shot, right? More confidence means you're ready to take on even more. And that's a cycle you want to be in. Every time you choose to push forward, you're kicking procrastination and doubt right in the crotch. So through my self improvement and discovery process, I'm finding that battling the power of limiting beliefs is one of my biggest struggles. In many of conversations that I'm having with like friends and other creators, I'm understanding that this is one of their struggles too. If you're unfamiliar with limiting beliefs, they're basically like a thought or state of mind that you think is the absolute truth and stops you from doing certain things. To illustrate my point, let's say there's something you're wanting to do, like you want to go back to school, open a business, or start a family. But there are certain thoughts in your head that are like making these desires sort of out of reach for you. It's almost as if there's like this angel versus devil on each of your shoulders, but it seems as if the devil is the one who's getting the upper hand here. And I never really understood why that was. In order to get to the bottom of this, I had to question why I chose to believe this negative thing about myself. Why am I following this limiting belief? Why am I believing it to override the belief that I deserve more? Let me give you another example. So, like on a down day, I would tell myself that I'm not worthy of being a valuable and consistent content creator. Now, I'm working on the consistency thing, but the valuable part is what I'm primarily targeting here. So, why do I believe that I'm not valuable enough? What makes me think that I don't have an opinion or a viewpoint to share with the world? And what makes others' content so much more valuable compared to my content in my eyes? Simply put, the reason why I wasn't seeing it was because I was choosing not to see it. And anytime I felt called to the mat by life, I would casually hide behind something in hopes that I wouldn't be confronted with it again. There would be instances where I would want the world to see my potential, but I'd cringe whenever it came to being in the spotlight. Does that sound familiar at all? I was nervous that I was never ready and the world would see my imperfections. This was my reasoning for not pushing forward. Kind of silly, I know. So instead of pushing myself backwards, I would challenge that negative way of thinking by asking myself, well, why can't I be a valuable and relatable content creator? I had to get out of my own head and like be present in the moment so I could show up for myself in a way that I hadn't necessarily done so before. And challenging my limiting beliefs in this way helped me to progress towards a growth mindset as a creator and also as a mom. Readjusting my thinking is always a work in progress, and by no means is it ever finalized, but I am comforted in knowing that I'm trying. In my head, I now say I have the creativity, passion, and determination to be not only a successful content creator, but a mom. So, in that vein, I can have it all, and I can be all the things I set out to be and more. So if you've ever experienced any limiting beliefs, to just know that you're not alone in this. And usually questioning the source and reasoning behind those thoughts helps shed a little bit of light as to why you're thinking that way in the first place. And when you find out that there's no validity to any of the negativity, you'll be able to more effectively transition to a more positive outlook. Take that, little devil. In that same vein, I have to ask that you please stop living your life to please others. Whenever you're trying too hard to please someone else, it's usually because you feel a lower sense of self-worth. Either you want to be accepted or admired or praised. If we're being honest, I think we all want to feel this way regularly. But it would be even better if our efforts were being recognized so we can experience these emotions regularly and from the people we admire most. But what if that doesn't happen? What do you do if those people don't acknowledge your strides? The answer is pretty simple. Question yourself and question why you hold that person in such high regard. What makes their opinion of you so important to you? Also, see how that person treats you. Do they treat you as good as you treat them? If you can read their opinion of you through their treatment of you, how would that read? When you attempt to fulfill the expectations of others before yourself, you run the risk of depriving yourself of happiness and self-fulfillment. You're also doing a disservice to those who you hold in such high regard. Because you demoted yourself within that relationship or relationships, you've also unintentionally enabled their sense of entitlement. And those people will come to expect you to roll out the red carpet for them every time because that's how you taught them to treat you. In other words, you're getting the short end of the stick while giving them the big head. If I could give you a few words of advice here, I want you to focus on your vision and who you want to be. Even if you don't know who that person is yet, that's okay. I've actually got some more tips coming up that can help you with that. But just remember, don't shortchange yourself and do not compare yourself to others. You owe it to yourself to follow your own path and see it through to your blessing. I think it's difficult to discuss self improvement in depth without acknowledging that your old identity must be left behind. And when I say this, I don't mean like making a huge, intimidating leap, but taking small steps every day so you can feel the feels of what it's like to step into this new version of you, right? Whether you want to be more refined, less anxiety ridden, more organized and presentable, basically like a person who has it all together, or at least who appears that way. We want to shed the old identity. That's what we really want to do because that identity has a lot of the I wants and the I wishes attached to it. And there's just no room for wishful thinking, not when we're trying to be the best version of ourselves. My old identity was a lot like that. I was a procrastinator and I had the best intentions, right? And I wished for the best, but I didn't work for much. And then I would complain that nothing was changing. Unfortunately, neither was I. When I gotten complacent in my situation, I would make excuses like, I'm good where I am, or this is just where God has me, and I should consider myself blessed. I mean, we've all said that. And although I am blessed to have what I have and who I have in my life, I see absolutely nothing wrong with wanting more for myself and my family. Besides, in the past, I've wanted more, and I feel that I've been able to be blessed more and more because I did away with ideas that kept me in my old frame of mind, hence shedding my old skin. And each time, my identity pivoted in a way that kept me on track with fulfilling my purpose, which is what I am actively and aggressively working towards in this moment. So I can feel fulfilled and better about who I am becoming. I feel like I'm constantly evolving, and because I've come to that realization, shedding my skin, it's not as scary as a process as I made it out to be. This makes moving to the next steps in my process much easier as well. A really good tip to determine why you are uneasy with where you are in your life currently is because in your mind, you know you deserve more. And the spot you're currently in is very temporary. Instead of being complacent in your situation, take the first step to find out how you can start making small changes towards becoming a better version of yourself. What helped me a great deal is a very famous book that I'm sure you've heard of called Atomic Habits by James Clear. He includes simple techniques in this book that you can apply to your life starting now that will allow you to see what you're currently doing and how you can change those habits in order to adopt a more consistent and actionable set of habits for success. If you're just getting started or are lost in the journey of self improvement, I personally think this book will get you going in the right direction. Plus, it's a really easy read. And if you've read the book before, let me know below in the comments your favorite takeaway from the book. Switching gears just a bit, I want to discuss the importance of surrounding yourself with encouraging people. Now, although self-growth and discovery is more of a personal journey, it shouldn't be an isolating one. So, have you ever heard the phrase, birds of a feather flock together? It's an oldie but a goodie. Turns out it's not just a cute phrase, but there is a bit of truth to it, metaphorically in this case. Having positive people around you is helpful because they can help you adjust your outlook on life. For example, positive people tend to gravitate towards encouraging discussions and behaviors. They're influential in helping you make better choices and motivational in helping you follow your dreams. These actions are indicative of who they are or are trying to become and how their lives are. Their intention at making sure you become the best version of you is simply because they have your best interests at heart. I cannot stress the importance of keeping toxic people out of your life enough. Your mental health overrides any level of toxicity, so please don't get wrapped up in thinking that in order to maintain a relationship or friendship with someone that you have to deal with whatever garbage they're throwing your way. If you're in that situation, please reassess, keeping in mind you have standards too, and you can elect whether or not you'll be a part of that. So put on your big girl panties and do what's best for you. One of the best things you can do for yourself is give yourself some grace. I always say this. Don't be so critical of yourself. If you make a mistake or you make plenty of mistakes, it's not the end of the world. In those situations, take what you've learned and move forward in a way that's smarter and more accountable. When you reshape how you look at making mistakes and realize just how common it is, it's easier to see that everyone relates to this. Besides, if you're willing to be kind and tolerant of others' mishaps, afford yourself that same grace. After all, we're all human and could use just a little bit of patience and a little bit of understanding, including you. Celebrating small wins can really help boost your self-confidence and become a motivating factor in you achieving more. For example, When I complete one phase of my content research or content creation segments, I feel so productive. On the flip side, it's important to embrace failure, but also to keep moving. Oddly enough, celebrating your small wins and failing can both lead to paralysis. On one hand, celebrating your small wins may put you in a state of euphoria where you're so enamored with where you are in your journey that you temporarily stop movement. If you take too long enjoying the moment, you could miss that momentum you would have experienced, had you just taken a little less time to celebrate. When you fail, that is by far one of the most common actions that immediately result in you giving up. No matter how big your goal or dream is, you automatically shut down and say, well, it must not be for me because it didn't work out. Real talk. Who are you to make that determination? Because one thing or maybe a few things didn't work out in your favor, you just automatically think it's best to throw away the whole dream? Absolutely not. Just because something may not be working out the way you'd intended doesn't mean it's like not meant to come to fruition for you. And it definitely doesn't mean that you are any less deserving of what comes with the vision. I really believe that sometimes the answer makes itself present after your failures. It's because although you failed at something, there was an improvement somewhere in the process, and that could lead to a better solution. But that solution would never have been discovered had you not stumbled or completely tripped up and fell on your face. This is a good time to consider that there is more than one way to get to your goal. It just takes you getting out of your own way to look at the bigger scope. So, for example, if you work in a creative space, sometimes you need to step away from the project in order to gain better insight. That way you'll know how to make your next move. The time away could allow you some breathing room and allow your mind to kind of like reconfigure its approach. So that way you're better able to address the problem. Trust me when I say this could happen either while you're awake or while you're asleep. In times like this, it's important to remember that practice makes progress, not perfection. I say this a lot in my personal and professional life, but I really believe when you begin to adopt that mentality, it becomes easier to cope with whatever it is you're involved in. Your mind redirects from not being capable enough to how you can better manage your efforts. There's something about the idea of taking shortcuts that can really grab our attention. They promise to save us time and effort and get us to our goals quicker. But let's get into the why as to why that's not the best approach. When you take the time to really dive into something, to learn it inside and out, you build a certain confidence and know-how that you just can't get any other way. When you've really put in the work and the effort and wrestled with the problem and seen it through to the end, you kind of start developing like a sense of personal achievement within yourself and even a sense of pride. You've got the skills, the knowledge, the experience that only come from doing the work. This feeling of achievement is contagious and could spill over into other areas of your life as well. You start to realize that if you can tackle one challenge without looking for shortcuts, then you can tackle others using the same method. What's revealed is not only how to attack your problems or tasks, but that your problems or tasks weren't that difficult to begin with. They were only as difficult as you were making them. And this is not in all cases, of course, but in some. In these cases, this is assuring because the power in changing outcomes for yourself lies in the change of your perspective. It literally starts there. And that's such a powerful yet simple concept if you think about it, right? That everything you need to change, your destiny is within you. That's kind of deep. After all, the best things in life are the ones you work hard for, the ones where you invest your time and energy, because in the end, those are the achievements that really matter, the ones that stick with you and shape who you are in the process. When things go south, it's really easy to start feeling sorry for yourself. We've all felt that way, as if like our problems are the biggest problems in the world and nobody else understands. But the reality is everyone is facing their own challenges, even if they don't show it outwardly. It's like when you're feeling down, it's okay to acknowledge it, right? But dwelling on it, that's where you need to draw the line. Because when you're so focused on your own issues that, you can really miss a lot of things. You can miss the fact that the person who's sitting right next to you might be fighting a much tougher fight. And by having your own pity party, you're not just isolating yourself, but you're also missing the chance to connect or lend a hand or even help find solutions and connect with other people who can help you maybe find solutions to your own problems. So how about we flip the script? When things get tough, take a deep breath and give yourself a moment to feel the feels of what you need and start looking for ways to bounce back. Maybe it's like going for a walk to clear your head, talk it out with a friend, write down your thoughts or feelings to really make sense of them. It really could just be as simple as setting one small, achievable goal for the day. But that small, achievable goal could be a major factor in helping you rebuild your momentum. The key there is to really take that first step forward, however how small it is, to start moving beyond your setback. So changing gears quite a bit, we're going to talk nutrition, okay? So I have to say this. Improving your nutrition is a major game changer, and it's more about reading numbers on the scale or just losing weight, but it's about putting in your body what you need the most. It's that good fuel that fuels your high energy levels, provides a stronger immune system, and your overall well-being. You can really feel the difference when you choose meals that are balanced and full of good nutrients, because it just helps you feel better as an individual. And the great thing about this is you're making incremental changes that are achievable and realistic. This isn't something that's super impossible. So, for example, you can swap out a sugary snack for a piece of fruit. You could choose water over soda, try whole grain instead of white bread. These choices really do add up. And for me personally, when I think about it in that way, it becomes easier to accomplish because my perception has changed. Now, whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve is much easier because I didn't make it as difficult as I typically would have. We all know, that on the flip side, committing to exercise at least 3 times a week can be difficult, but it can also profoundly impact your overall well being. It boosts your cardiovascular health, which keeps your heart strong and can ward off diseases. Moreover, sticking to an exercise routine at least 3 times a week instills discipline and structure in your life. What I think is really cool, though, about exercising and making it a part of your daily routine, and it's often overlooked, is that exercise is a major, major stress reliever. It releases hormones that are called endorphins, and they're the feel good hormones that can help lift your mood. So, on the days you work out, you might notice like a clearer mind and an energy boost that can translate into more productive, and enjoyable work days. So, that's why I always think it's a good idea to work out on days you don't mentally or emotionally feel your best. And I know it's easier said than done, but with that tip, if you do, you're more likely to get satisfaction from exercising because the release of these endorphins can kind of help level you out a little bit more. And it's a commitment to your self care that often encourages other healthy habits to follow suit. So you kind of see how this all works together. You may find yourself making better food choices, opting for more restful sleep, becoming more hydrated, which can add to even more benefits and longevity of your life. Also, it helps psychologically. When you start achieving your fitness goals, no matter how small, you can build confidence and a sense of accomplishment. It's empowering to see what your body can achieve with just regular exercise. And that empowerment, again, can spill over into other areas of your life, giving you the courage to take on new challenges with a can-do attitude. Staying connected with others is crucial, especially during tough times, and I can attest to this. When you open up to your friends and your family and others, it doesn't mean that you're burdening them. It means that you're human and you need help. And when you share what it is that you're going through, you'll find that others have faced similar issues and they can offer perspective or really good advice. Let's look at it from a different angle. When you're feeling low, your problems can seem very overwhelming. But when you share what you're going through, you'll find that others have faced similar issues and they can offer a certain perspective. And it doesn't just provide comfort, but can also lead to practical solutions that you might not have considered on your own. Try to resist the urge to withdraw when times get hard. Try not to isolate yourself and get away from the crowd, but try reaching out, even if it feels difficult. It can be as simple as a text message. It could be a call, a margarita date, but just by being open, you do allow for those connections that can lighten that load and remind you that you're not alone. So please don't forget that the support we receive can be just as valuable as the support we give. Now, on the opposite end, we're going to talk about solitude a little bit, which solitude is the art of being alone. Now, this isn't about loneliness or isolation, but it's about creating a space for you to breathe and grow. In solitude, you find a rare opportunity to get to know yourself away from the influence of others. It's a time when you can really reflect on your goals, your values, and your own personal journey. It gives you a chance to pause and check in with your well-being. I'm not only providing this piece of advice to you, but I am regularly following it because as a mom, a wife, a caretaker, content creator, employee, my everyday duties can seem never ending. So when I get a moment to be by myself, I really take that with no hesitation. What I found to be helpful too is journaling. Journaling can be a very powerful tool in helping bring your dreams into reality, right? It's like practicing setting your intentions and mapping out your desires. So, really, when you take the time to write down your dreams and your aspirations, it's like you're giving them a brand new dimension. You're making them tangible and you're making them trackable. And by itself, the act of writing can also be incredibly freeing. It allows you to express your fears and concerns about your dreams and to acknowledge them and work through them. By doing this, you're not allowing these fears to live rent free in your head, but instead you're giving them a place to be acknowledged. Journaling can help keep you accountable too. So, when you regularly review your goals and the steps you're taking to reach them, you can see where you're making progress and where you need to adjust your course. It's like a personal progress report that keeps you honest about the effort you're putting into your dreams. Also, the reflective nature of journaling can lead to insights and ideas that might not surface through your thoughts alone. It encourages a mindfulness that keeps you connected to your ambitions, yet mindful of the present moment. Routines are essential. They keep you on track towards productivity and well being. They're about setting up your daily habits to work for you. There's something very powerful when you start each day with a clear plan. And for me personally, I've developed habits such as preparing my kids' school clothes for the week, the weekend before, setting out their PJs earlier in the day so I'm not scrambling to look for them when they're getting out of the tub, meal prepping for them the weekend before, as to just not stress out about what they're going to have to eat for the next few days. I've developed certain processes according to my schedule to help ease any anxieties as it pertains to house operations. And honestly, doing so has helped me immensely. So I'm not just telling you about it, I'm actively doing it. You are fully capable of making any decision necessary which will help shape your day, your week, your month, and your year. So set your tasks, nail down those goals, and work towards accomplishing them. You can make your day fit what you want out of life. It's all on you to put together a plan that's going to push you where you want to go. Take the reins each morning, make smart choices, and watch your life start to sync up with your dreams. In my opinion, maintaining a clean and personal space is a vital part of living a balanced and productive life. When your space is like chaotic, it can really mirror and magnify feelings of disarray within your mind. A clean environment promotes a sense of peace and satisfaction. You really have to take control of your surroundings and your life, essentially. There's like a subtle but like profound confidence that comes from knowing where everything is and seeing a space that reflects your best self. It's like there's no better place to be because you took the time to curate the space as you like. This confidence can seep into other areas of your life too, encouraging you to make decisions and take actions that are more deliberate and focused. And a clean space can reduce the time you spend looking for lost items. It can help lower stress levels and ward off common allergens and germs that can affect your health. So investing time in cleaning up, it's not just about the immediate results of having a pleasant area, which is nice, but it's like a long-term investment in your well-being. And the act itself can be meditative, like a physical manifestation of putting your life in order. Regularly dedicating your time to maintaining your space can help instill discipline and a sense of accomplishment. My kids are constantly adding to the disarray around this house, so I will clean up multiple areas of my home, even several times a day, because for me, it gives me comfort knowing that there won't be an exhaustive pile of toys or dishes or laundry for me to tackle at the end of the day when I am exhausted. I would rather handle that as soon as we're done playing or eating, because for me, it just makes me feel more at ease in the moment. And I'm able to provide consideration for my future self because once my kids are asleep, I can focus on winding down as opposed to gearing up for yet another chore. Positioning yourself in environments that reflect the person you aspire to be is also a very powerful tactic in personal development. It's about alignment. When you're in a place that mirrors your ambitions, the distance between who you are and who you want to be kind of starts to close. For instance, say fitness is your goal, right? So spending time in the gym can help keep you inspired. If you want to be a better reader or writer, consider spending time at the library. The physical spaces we inhabit can serve as constant reminders of our path, keeping our minds focused and our motivations fresh. This practice also exposes you to like-minded individuals, potential mentors, and experiences that are in sync with your personal journey. It's about immersing yourself in communities that understand and support your goals, offering inspiration, insights, and opportunities. It's one thing to dream about a goal. It's another to physically step into a world where that goal is a reality for a lot of people. And being in these spaces can trigger those behaviors and habits you need to develop into the person you're wanting to become, which is the best version of yourself. Soon you'll notice that you'll become a person of action, not just contemplation. The gap between abstract desire and concrete reality will be bridged, bringing your dreams closer to fruition. Initiating a life change right now, rather than waiting for the perfect moment or someone else's approval, is crucial because, frankly, the right time is a myth. I think we all know this. Waiting on the sidelines for a sign or permission is like pausing your life's movie, but everybody else's plays on. And that's a terrible feeling when you realize you're the one that's in your own way. If you're waiting on permission, consider this your go ahead. But real talk, you can change your life right now. Seriously. It's all about the choices you make today. When you decide to just go for it, you're grabbing the reins. You're driving towards whatever you're dreaming about. Putting off changes, that's usually about being scared. Scared to fail, scared to succeed, or scared of what other people might think. But hey, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, that's where all the goodness happens. When you get moving, each little step cranks up your momentum. And that momentum is like a confidence booster shot, right? More confidence means you're ready to take on even more. And that's a cycle you want to be in. Every time you choose to push forward, you're kicking procrastination and doubt right in the crotch. Making changes today means you're not just dreaming about a different future, you're actually doing something about it. You're telling yourself and everyone else that you mean business. Okay, we're gonna have to address social media here, okay? Now let's be real. Scrolling through everyone's perfect posts can screw with your head. But remember, it's just the shiny bits they're showing off. If you stop getting sucked into that, you've got a lot more headspace to focus on your own stuff. Less comparing, more doing, right? Plus, you get back all that time for your own life, your passions, your chill out moments. Not to mention less drama, more peace. It's a win-win. And being thankful for what you've got, that is the true key to happiness. Choosing not to be absorbed by social media is also choosing to be present in the moment. It's a commitment to living your life rather than just observing the lives of others. In doing so, you're more likely to make progress in those areas that truly matter to you and build a life that feels fulfilling, not just one that looks good on a screen. Taking yourself on a date or regularly checking in with yourself is a practice that's about dedicating time solely to your well-being, preferences, and interests without the influence or compromise that often comes with group dynamics. This practice can enhance your independence and confidence. Now, this is a bit different than being in solitude, which I had mentioned earlier. This point is specific to being in a public place, but taking a moment to be self-aware and address what you're needing in that moment. Moreover, this practice can enhance your independence and confidence. It can be incredibly empowering to realize you can enjoy life and its various experiences without relying on others for validation or company. You become more comfortable in your own skin, which can lead to a stronger presence and self-assurance in social situations. All in all, the best you is built day by day. Keep at it and give yourself the grace to grow at your own pace. Keep in mind that this is your path, so zero in on what matters to you and have the guts to make those necessary changes. And although you want to push yourself to be the best you can be, you have to remember that it is healthy and important to take a break sometimes. Relax, refresh, and check in with what you really need. Then get back on track with becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, we can't stay down too long. But after all, that's pretty much the end goal, right? Every day presents a new opportunity to get a little better, to grow a bit more. Step by step, you are on your way to becoming the best version of yourself. Trust me when I say, you got this. I'm Rose, and if you're digging this type of content, please subscribe and leave a cool comment. I would love to chat with you. Until next time, take care.